Order submitted. Order submitted. Order canceled.
Okay, if you can hear me, there's a few in now. I don't know what happened there. Everything seemed to just die. It was my internet lost for some reason, so I went downstairs and re-switched it on, and eventually came back on. So I'm not sure what happened. Just reload. How you doing, bud? Not sure what happened there. Everything froze up. I don't know what it was. The internet seemed okay, so I switched it off, switched it back on, rebooted my computer, and so far so good. That happened a couple of weeks ago. That did, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Whether it's my internet or something, I just wonder whether it's my internet cable. I might have to replace it. Not quite sure. So, okay, let's have a look at this again. So pretty much just ranging. So just no entry there. We had a channel down with a break, 2 pushes to a new low, and it just took off. No real way in there, to be honest with you. It's unfortunate, really. There isn't anything on this chart either, really. Okay, so we got orders at 82 up here, and orders as high as 90. That's the highest bunch I've got. Trouble is, you don't know when this thing is going to bounce here, to the top. That's what makes it more tricky. Range days, I mean, sometimes they're okay. It's not terrible down the bottom, but the trouble is, every time we get up the top, we're up here, then we're down here. We're a little bit lower, then we're down here, then we're up here. So it's kind of just bouncing it, constantly bouncing at different levels, which makes it really hard to know when's the safest time to get in. So Clearly got a channel up there with a break, 2 pushes to a new low. There is orders at 85, which I think is there. And at 90, so I think we'll certainly at this level, possibly this as well. Following Matt the rule, second entries. That's not applying range days. Yeah, to be honest with you, I usually look for lower highs. I do. That's usually a better indication that we're having a move down to the EMA, obviously, at what's it. So, yeah, I don't tend to pay too much attention to second entries, mainly just either picking tops or I'm just not a fan of picking tops. I don't think I'm particularly good at it. And obviously, when the tops are looking like this, different every time, it makes it almost kind of damn impossible. But what I do tend to pay attention to, if we get something like that, a leg and a leg, a bearish bar, then followed by a lower high, usually then that's a good indication. We'll get back to that EMA, but so there is orders there, which is where I marked. So we have picked off those orders. Now there is a bit more up at 700. So that's the trouble. Is this thing going to continue up? But we've had what looks like we got a channel here with a small break, and there's a measured move there, all bar a tick. Take that down a bit. Depends how you look at that. You may count that there or there. So roughly, we've had a measured move. So if we had a big bearish bar followed by a lower high, I'd be tempted to short that. But it does scare me because, as I say, I'm not particularly good at them. I've just, as much as you tend to get more setups on range days, sometimes when you get a big, strong, bullish day, you get a massive move and hardly no way in. Just kind of how it works. But I tend to do better on range days, but obviously range days where they're more or less, shorter range days, maybe 10 points from top to bottom, because you can easily see the legs then, can't you? But when it's like this, there's so much that can happen in this. It's just one of those things. So it's tempting for to take that bearish bar, but I always tend to wait for the lower highs. There's less of a chance of getting that right, I think. Market's got a habit of triggering you and stopping you out, which is infuriating, so I tend to not do it now, but it does seem to be something like a couple of legs up, but thereabouts. So now, see, this is where I think Bookmap comes into its own. There are orders as much as 70. We've picked off some of these. There are more around about, some of them are dying off now, but around about 95, which is right up here. And some, so there's some at 95, which is there, and some at 700, which you'd probably expect, which is there. So that would be a nice place to turn, wouldn't it? But it may go a bit higher. It's hard to say. See, taking a bar like that for me is just a bit hit and miss. It may trigger and carry on, but that's why I like Bookmap. If I can see strong orders at 95 above that, I'll avoid a short there. If we do get a lower high, then there's a good chance then we get a bit of a pullback. But and it's a fair amount. It's a fair size range, isn't it? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 30, 35 points. But yeah, while I can see them there at 95, I wouldn't want to take a short because it may just trigger you as it's done there and then push up to this area. I'm figuring if there's a fair chunk of orders up there, they're probably going to know more than I do. Or there's probably more of them there. But so keep an eye on that. Trouble is, you never know when it's going to decide to break above all this. So if you had a channel with a break, 2 pushes to a new low, a little double bottom, a nice bullish bar higher low there, that's the type of thing I would have a go at. Because it's quite clear there. You can clearly see that channel's working really nice. We pushed up 1 leg, 2 legs down, and we just went a little bit sideways. Higher, lower something would be nice there, but it just took off. Which is typical, isn't it? That looks like there's a spike in channel up here as well, I'd say. Somewhere along those lines. Someone else has got that as well. Okay, so we didn't quite get to that 95. So the trouble is you don't know whether this is a pullback and it's going to go higher. So we had, what I will say is there is some support along there. Clearly see that. Bounce, bounce, or rejection, whatever you want to call it. What is it? Resistance, isn't it? We push down. Twice we bounce above it. So this may end up working down, but because it's a spike in a channel, you naturally, we're taught naturally we kind of follow the back up to the highs, but because we got quite high there, it may just turn. Who knows? Could be something like that. Either way, we've had a break of it. So there are orders at 87.50. So we may come down a bit before we go up. 87.50 there, below there. So maybe we have a couple of legs and a push up. Trouble is, because we've already been up here before, about twice there. I don't know how comfortable I feel with going along. And not only that, if we get a failure here, a triple test, it may well come down. That would be a second entry short, stroke, triple test, stroke failure. It has broke above there. Obviously, this is the next line in the sand up here. Okay, so channel break, new high by a tick, or have we? Not quite, or have we? No, we haven't. A little double top, second entry short. There's orders at 95, which is up here. So I'd be inclined not to take this because there are orders there. It may trigger your short and push up. Doji anyway, so nothing you can do there. Trouble is, we got orders there, orders up here, orders here, orders there. That's done now. Yeah, second entry short. It's only 6 ticks, so it's not actually a huge risk. But because I can see these orders up here on bookmap, I'm leaving this alone. Even though it's a small risk, I still didn't trigger anyway. I still think there's a good chance we get to this 95 level, which we're there now. And there are orders at 700, so so it does look like we may get above this. Let me just put that there. I think we're a tick short. Channel break, 2 pushes to a new high. See, with those orders at 700, it's risky taking this. We have got a channel and 2 pushes to a new high. It's tempting. It may well work. But I would prefer a lower high anyway. And as we've got those orders, quite strong orders at 700, we know round numbers make a difference. Sorry. Where's 700? 700 is there. So we got strong orders there. And we got orders there as well. About 700. So those ones have been taken. So channel, break, 2 pushes to a new high. I just don't feel comfortable going short here. It may work, but I'm just leaving it alone for now. There's quite a few more orders up here, so it may well go a bit higher. Yeah, there's a second entry short there, so possible failure here. I still wouldn't. I mean, it is bouncing off here, so it's probably going to go a bit higher. Trouble is, there's not much room to the highs, and I'm assuming it's going to get there. But it could trigger it and give us a lower high, so I'm just sitting tight here at the moment. It just doesn't feel comfortable. Just looking for a breakout. Trouble is, you don't know if it's going to do it now or in the next hour or what. It's hard to say. So it could trigger above there and give us a lower high and have a rush down. Well, a move down. I wouldn't necessarily say a rush. So we are finding a bit of support here. You just never know if that's going to hold. Okay, here we go. So is this a lower high? I wouldn't take a trade here, to be honest with you. It's just a little bit. We could still push a bit higher. Ah, yeah. Oh, it's me. Yeah, it's stacking up here. I think there's a good chance we break above those two bars there. Bound to be some stops there, isn't there? The fact there is a lower high. The trouble is it's sideways, so you never know what it's going to do. It could shoot up, it could come down. There'll be shorts in there, you can bet. There's probably going to be some buyers stops below there, so it could have a quick flush down. So there's a triple test there. Stroke failure. It's very tempting, that. Trouble is it's stacked up again. Probably going to work. The trouble is there's not that much space between that and the EMA. Oh, sorry. Okay, there may have been some stops there. We've already ticked below there, so I ain't getting in there. 14 ticks. Could get a break out of here that fails. There will be a second entry long there. Trouble is, because we've had a break and already made a bunch of attempts, I won't want to go long here, and I'm not ready to go short yet either. Oh. Excuse me. Starting to look a bit bearish, so it could have a quick drop, but I mean, we're bouncing at the right place, that's for certain. So this may actually start to come right down, but tempting. Starting to look more and more bearish. It is. Yeah, it is. I'm not sure it'll go up now. It's certainly bounced in the right place. I will say that we've had a channel up there with a break, 2 pushes to a new high, at a retest attempt with a bearish bar. You know, I wouldn't be surprised now if this thing comes down, but is it going to do something like that? Push down, you starts again, it decides to have a pullback, but this is looking very bearish now. You know, it's starting to come down quite steep, so my gut feeling is it's probably going to start to work its way down. So we want to pull back before it's too late, otherwise this thing will just open up. Yeah. So, still looking. I'll be surprised if these orders don't disappear soon. At least temporarily. Mind you, they've been here a while, I think, anyway, so they may just sit there. And there's some up at 710 as well, quite a bit higher. Okay, there are orders starting to appear down below, so I think probably a few more will as well. Okay, so here's our break. Let's see what happens. I'm going to keep this. Let's keep this down here at the minute. So channel, small break. It's very tempting to take that because I think there's a good chance this comes down. The trouble is I prefer my stop up there, but I'm not risking. big amount like that. I think there's a good chance this comes down. Trouble is, we've had a little break and a new low. I think if your stop was up there, I think I'd definitely be tempted to hold this, but as it said, it would be there if I go on, and you don't know whether we're going to have a quick break and maybe retest this. Be some stops down here quite lightly, so we may have a quick little push. Okay, so that's cleared out any liquidity there. How far did that go? So I wouldn't have got out of that yet. You know, I have been thinking over the weekend whether to change from 3 points to 2 points. I will say a lot of the trades I get for 3 points, I get out early anyway, and sometimes they make 2 points and we get a pullback. So I'm thinking, am I just going to be the same financially just by going for 2 points? So if I'd have taken that, I'd have already been out. I'd have been out there instead of down here. See, finding I'm getting out of most of my trades early anyway, probably at 2 points. So I'm just wondering, am I better off just to go for a fixed 2 points and just leave it? We'll see. I'll mull it over this week. Trouble is, we've had a couple of bounces there, and we may be finding another there. I'll be surprised if it pushes up that high, though. Trouble is, if it tests this area, it may do. You can clearly see there's a little bit of support there. That's where it would have to hit. That bullish bar there, it has triggered it, so I would probably expect it to drop below there, and it may hit that target anyway. 2, 3 ticks away. Okay, it's ticked below that, so I think we're quite unlikely going to hit that, so probably will work. Flickering around now, it makes me nervous, that. So if I'd have taken 2 points, I'd have been out. If I'd have stuck for me 3 points, I wouldn't have been. And look at this thing. If that tests this line, I wouldn't be shocked if it broke above there. So we got a shoulder, a head, a shoulder, take out that, and then drop. So I'd have been panicking now and getting out of this probably. Well, I wouldn't have done. I've been in here, so there's a potential loss there, whereas the 2 points would have comfortably worked. 2 points would have been there because you'd have to push through. See, we had similar here. We came off the top, didn't we, strong, and then we pulled right back to the top. And we still had another couple of attempts before the arse dropped out of it. So I wouldn't be shocked if that gets cleared. We had very similar there, didn't we? And then it just took off, which it looks like it could be doing here. So 2 points would have worked. 3 1/4 would have been a loss. Trouble is, it's not just a case of 2 points or 3 points. You've got to take away what you'd have been down. That's a fair size bar, that. I mean, it hasn't stopped yet, but I'm guessing it probably will. So that would be maybe 3-point loss or a 2-point win. The difference is 5 points. So it's not a case of, would I have won or lost? It's how much I'd have been better off if I'd have taken less. So I may just decide to go back for 2 points. Because if I'm getting out of them at, 1.5, 2 points, maybe a bit less anyway, I'd been better off just leaving it at the 2. So I'll be amazed if that doesn't stop above there. So if I'd have taken that, 2 points would have worked. So I've been up, say, $200. If I waited for the 3, I'd be down $300. So the difference is $500. So it's not a case of would it have worked or not. It's how much would have been up compared to how much it have been down. Wow. So it went there, but it didn't. That's a good sign that it didn't break that out. So perhaps it's going to work. The trouble is, do you want to sit through all that punishment? I'll be amazed now if it doesn't work. But yeah, it just, look at that. It bounced right at the level. I'm really surprised that didn't break above it. That tells me it was maybe a bit stronger than I initially thought. So let's see if the 3 points would have worked. The trouble is, not only that, if you sit through all this, when it starts to pull back, you'd have probably getting out of it then for a break even. And then it may trigger and come down anyway. So I think if you haven't got the confidence to just leave a trade and let it go, sometimes you're better off bringing it down a little bit. So maybe a second entry short, test this line and then down. It's possible. So let's put that there. We've had a matching low. There are orders at 700. I can't see it again, personally. Maybe a triple test here. Triple test, second entry long. We had the same here. We pushed down. We had a couple of attempts, maybe 1, 2, 3, and then it fell down. So yeah, it wouldn't have made it. I would have lost. So if I'd have taken it, I'd have lost. 2 points would have worked. 3 wouldn't. So possibly a second entry short stroke triple test. Marco took a long there. It worked. Or did it? Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, of course it did. Second entry short. Trouble is, it's 16 ticks, 17 ticks. I don't even finish yet. There's going to be no room left to the lows. Stay. Mind you, there is a triple test, isn't there? So what I'm looking at here is we had something similar there. We pushed down and made an attempt to go higher. We had the same there. And it dropped. And it did pull back and had another go before the bottom fell out of it. So this just looks like it's trying to test this area. So whether it's going to work or not, I don't know. It is 2 legs up. There is a big bearish bar, but it didn't trigger. Channel down, maybe a break in and no, that doesn't really matter. It's played out anyway. But if we make a couple of attempts, it may drop. I suppose really it's got to be that attractive to get shorts in there. So that will be a second entry short. That bearish bar didn't trigger anyway. Oh. So is this going to continue on up? Do. So looking on this chart, you've got longs in here. There. So is this going to have a quick rush down? I certainly wouldn't bet on it. You may say we've had a channel there for the break. Second entry short. Yeah, I'm not a fan of today. At least I'm up a bit anyway, so. Spent a kick in the teeth. I'm going to knock it on there. Actually, I'm going to go and get something to eat. I might come back for an hour later. So I'll leave you guys to it. So sorry what happened earlier. I don't quite know what happened. The internet seemed to just die. So I rebooted everything. Eventually it worked. So I'll leave you guys to it. So best of luck. I hope you get a setup. Failing that, have a great evening. Stay safe and we'll catch up again tomorrow. Bye for now.